Hello, it's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Welcome to another episode of Just Ask Bob Live. I am your host, Bob Assadourian. Right off the top, this show is interactive. We need and we welcome your emails at askbob@cable14.com, tweet your questions at AskJustAskBob, or pick up the phone. Bob's old school. I certainly welcome a friendly call. 905-645-3232. On this program, we take all home rental questions, everything from the foundation to the roof and in between. We also take questions from disgruntled homeowners. If you're having an issue with your contractor, was the workmanship unprofessional? Did he run off with your deposit? Call those questions into our show. The show has a concept. We have a goal in mind. Two goals. Number one, first and foremost, always. Nothing will make Bob happier than for you to learn and to be motivated and to get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Doesn't matter what that ever-growing to-do list is. Replace a cracked tile, install a kitchen range fan, right to the kitchen, basements, bathrooms, and decks, and even the backyard oasis. Now, for whatever reason, if you're uncomfortable, you can't do it, ladder's not tall enough to get up to the roof, that's fine. Second goal of this program has never changed. It is to demystify the process of hiring, as Bob likes to call it, the right contractor for you and your home, not just any contractor. So we'll kick it off right off the bat with licensing. Unlike reality television, today's host is actually licensed. Up on the screen, you should be seeing my license. Now, it's not about me. It's about our municipality here and many other municipalities throughout the province of Ontario. It's absolutely critical for the homeowner to do their due diligence. Number one, find out, does your municipality vet, screen, and license and rein in these so-called contractors? Or is it going to be the wild, wild west? So make sure the contractor's licensed if your municipality has a license. Now, if you live in a city that does not license their contractors, well, I suggest you start making calls to your city councilor and have a push for that, because it's very, very important. They don't license them. You really got to go crazy on the references, the insurance, the WSIB, Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage, and best of luck to you that this is the right person for you and your own home. That's why I really push the skill set. When you learn, it's not just about the bragging rights. Believe the old saying that if you want it done right, you do it yourself. That really holds value when it comes to home improvements. Look at the internet, look at this show, look at many other home improvement shows. You know, a lot of it isn't rocket science or brain surgery. You can learn how to repair, rebuild, and renovate your own home and avoid what Bob has tagged as the crooked and overcharging contractor. In some cases, the grumpy fellow. He's working in your home. You ask him a question. Rightly so, it's your home. He barks an answer. You ask him a second question, the bark's even louder. You realize, leave this guy alone, and then there's just issues from there. So please always be careful with who you hire. Every episode on this network of Just Ask Bob Live is precipitated based on your home renovation question. We receive your questions. Although we can't host a program exclusively on every question, Bob will answer them one way or the other. So even after the program, you can definitely still send in tweets and you can send in emails to Cable 14. If you need to reach me at any point, very easy. www.justaskbob.com. Again, that's www.justaskbob.com. We have a viewer's email here that's going to precipitate the upcoming rental footage. Bob, I live in a 5-year-old home and my entire downspout fell off last winter. Worst time of the year for it to happen. Please tell your viewers that these dam builders are installing them using plastic anchors, one only, which cannot hold up against strong winds and the weight of frozen water in the pipes. I used blue Tapcon screws to secure it permanently. Bob, my wife and I love your show and will always call on you if we need you. Please tell your viewers to watch out for this on new homes. This is Josh from Ancaster. Thank you very much, Josh. This isn't something new to me. I've done smaller segments in the past where we've touched on this, but I'm very, very proud of the upcoming rental footage. You know, we recorded this while socially distancing, literally on 2 different job sites, ground level, up a short ladder, and also directly on top of a roof. You know, we worked really, really hard to bring you this footage. Obviously, we're in COVID-19 times. You see Bob here in the studio alone. On our job sites, myself, my employees, sometimes even our homeowners become handy on the camcorder in order for us to get you this footage. And I'm extremely proud of this footage because a lot of it was on the rooftop. And even in the prior to COVID-19, Cable 14, unfortunately, for whatever reason, well, safety, they would be a little hesitant at times to climb roofs or climb ladders. So we worked really hard to bring you this footage. If you find some of it shaky, Bob was tied off and very close to the edge to bring you some really nice shots of what we were working on. Now back to builders, I don't know what to say. I mean, they're throwing these homes up too quickly. Drive around town. When you see a site begin, keep following with it. It is absolutely stunning record time how fast they're putting up these homes. And in a lot of cases, believe me when I say, new construction is not what it's supposed to be. The average new home in Ontario will need roof repairs or a re-roof between 4 to 9 years. That's absolutely uncalled for. Not when the average price is easily exceeding $600,000 to $700,000. Downspouts are falling off walls. Bricks are needing tuck pointing because they were done when it was too cold outside. They throw them up because that's how they get the closing date, and that's how the lawyers transfer the money to the builder. So you must be careful if you're buying a new home. Enjoy the footage, and don't forget, get those questions ready. Email them at askbob@cable14.com. Tweet us at justaskbob, or pick up the phone. Especially last half of the program is dedicated. I'm here live to take your questions. Pick up the phone, 905-645-3232. Enjoy the show. Hello, Hamilton. Here we have a 2-story home, brick on the bottom, siding on the top. As you can see, the downspout also runs the full 2 stories. This one's come detached from the wall. Gives us a great opportunity here to show you. Now, we've talked about this many times in the past. These builders and a lot of contractors have absolutely no idea what quality means. It's all about speed. Go, go, go. Stay tuned, and we're going to show you the permanent and proper way to attach your eaves troughs, downspouts to your home's exterior walls, whether brick or siding. That downspout you just seen falling on the ground, that could be your home. And at the worst time of year, in the dead of winter. Downspouts take a lot of abuse. Sometimes, for whatever reason, they'll fill up with water and they'll freeze, they'll ice up. I've seen them even swell at the back. But many, many times they come disconnected and they fall right off. Usually the biggest problem is the way that they were attached. So let me show you the typical builder standard, new home builder standard in Ontario, and then let me show you the right way to do it. This is how builders install them. They basically take flat stock of aluminum. Josh, if you want to zoom in here, they take flat stock of aluminum. They either use a plastic anchor or they use a Tapcon to fasten into the joint, and then that's the method of attachment. That's not good. That will eventually come undone. The better way to do it is to actually use a clamp, a bracket. So this is a nice aluminum bracket. It's a little bit decorative. It matches the color. You can bend it to the right shape, fit it on. However, never be tempted to fasten it into the mortar joint. That's the easy way. There's a lot of, not much resistance when you're drilling into mortar. The better way is to fasten it into the brick. Let's open this one up for the viewers. I want you to actually see what a cheap, lazy job the builders do here. That's it. And it's in the mortar joint. That's not the way to do it. Now, on this particular job, we happen to have a small dent here. Josh, if you want to focus in on that. So we're going to pick that spot for the bracket. But the key is, we're going to make sure we're going to go into the brick. Some tools that you're going to need for the viewers at home. You're going to need a Tapcon masonry bit and a hammer drill. You're also going to need a second drill, an impact, and with the green #2 Robertson bit. And it'll be nice to have some matching screws. These are pebble, so they match the aluminum. Set our drill on hammer mode. Okay, Josh, give the viewers a nice close-up. Nice close-up in there, Josh, for the viewers. Okay, now we're going to fire in the Tapcon. That's not going anywhere. That's not coming apart. One more time for the other side. Big difference. My method to the builder's method. Why is there such a difference? Builders get paid by quantity. Fly, fly, fly. Have you seen new home construction around your city or your municipality? They're throwing up these homes in amazing speed. Just throwing them up without a care. That's why your downspouts can end up falling down. If it's the wrong time of year, it won't be easy out here with these tools if it's the dead of winter to get everything repaired. That's the proper way. Bob's going to get on the ladder. We're going to be climbing up now and show you also how to fasten when your exterior sheath and your exterior finish is something other than brick or block or stone. We're going to be fastening on top of vinyl siding. Now we're going to show you how to attach using these clamps onto vinyl siding. So you can see once again the builder's done the same thing here. They fastened onto the siding with the same type of a cheap strap. And this strap only has one screw penetrating the siding going into the home. Now let's take a moment to talk about the types of screws. Josh, if you could zoom in here for the viewers. The one on my right is stainless steel. The one on my left is just regular zinc plated. Now there is a reason for the difference. I prefer stainless steel. If I put both the screws in my hand, magnet's only going to pick up one of them. Not the stainless, but certainly the zinc plated. Now we talk about this all the time. When you're cutting the crooked and overcharging contractor out of the equation, you save an awful lot of money. Reinvest that into quality products. You're not going to break the bank by buying stainless steel screws. It's going to make the job look nicer and it's going to make the job last longer. Now, much easier when we're working on siding because beneath that is wood. So we've eliminated the need to bore into the brick. These brackets are adjustable depending on the size of your downspout. So I've already pre-bent this one. and I prefer to put it over the existing clamp. And one from the other side. That's not going anywhere. That's the right way to do it. Josh, we're in a good location here. Want to give the viewers a shot of the opposing home? You want to just pan up and down vertical? Again, it only has 2 clamps through the siding. And for the viewers at home, you can't see the lower section because of the gate there, but they basically only have a single strap. Very, very important to secure it properly, and I recommend walk around your home, all 4 sides. Take care of these items in the fall before the winter arrives. And please, always stay safe on the ladders. We're on another job site right now. This is a 2-story home. I'm literally standing at the peak of the garage here. And let me give you some perspective. That's the home's brick wall as it approaches the second roof. So what you're seeing now is the uppermost roof. That's the eaves trough. The downspout comes down, brings the water down against the brick wall, ends in an elbow. There is flashing, at least wall flash in there to offer a little bit of protection. And then basically the rain runoff will move to the right. Gravity will take it down the roofing shingles and into the eaves trough. Bear with me for those of you at home. I'm walking very carefully here. I'm tied off on top of the roof. Now, for those of you at home, let's see how well educated you are. Think through your minds now. What is wrong with this scenario? Why is this not good? Any answers? Bob's got the answer. The problem is the amount of concentration for the rain from this uppermost roof. That's a lot of water, an awful lot of water. That's going to come gushing down the downspout, and it's going to create a splash point of tremendous volume and pressure right at the corner of that brick wall. Now, if that brown flashing fails, and even if the beige flashing behind it fails, that water is going to be wicked in from the brick wall. Now, also a concentration of water against the shingles. The shingles are going to wear out prematurely. This is not what you want. Now, let me show you the opposite corner. Again, bear with me as I turn myself around here. Not very easy walking on these roofs. Okay, this is the opposite corner here. And again, just to give you some perspective, I'm literally standing on the garage roof now. That's the second story of the home as it comes up. There's the eaves trough for the second story. And the downspout, well, you can't quite see it. Let me try to get close to the edge here. Can you just make it out now? There you go. Bob's awfully close to the edge here. So there's the downspout. It comes down, and then it just ends at the corner. Let me walk into this now so you can get a better perspective. Not good. Anybody at home want to take a guess? Same reason as the first one. That's just too much volume. Way too much volume. It could even back up and cause an issue with the valley, and it can wear out the shingles prematurely, as it actually has. If I can zoom in there, you can see the discoloration and the wear. Now this is a very easy fix, so is the first one. Basically, extend the existing downspout with the elbow to fit and line up and end up inside the eaves trough. So the rainwater from the upper eaves trough pounds down the downspout and pounds directly into the lower eaves trough. You're not having pressure, you're not having volume concentrated on the roofing shingles. The only thing that should be concentrated on the roofing shingles is the actual rain that falls naturally, not a concentration and pressure brought down from, you know, an upper second story eaves trough through the downspout to the lower story eaves trough. Now we're going to teach you how to cut the downspouts. Not easy. It can be an awful pain cutting them. I mean, unless you have a table saw set up with a metal cutting blade. Otherwise, it takes practice. Most important thing is a hacksaw with a sharp bit. Now this is the Baho or Baco. I recommend this. This is made in Germany. A little bit expensive. Same with the blades, but it's very, very high quality. If you're using a cheap hacksaw, it's going to be nothing but a nightmare. And you watch in a moment now, it's probably not going to be too easy to cut through. It's an extra measure of assistance to have a helper. Unfortunately, our helper Josh is on the camcorder right now, so Bob's going to cut it on his own. The key is you want to have lots of pressure on it. However, you don't want to be collapsing it. When you collapse it, it binds on the blade, and it just makes it annoying. And you want to do nice full strokes. You don't want to be using mini strokes. Give it a shot here, because if I had an assistant, there'd be pressure along more of it. Okay, Josh, if you want to give the viewers a nice close-up, hopefully Bob doesn't butcher this. Yeah, it's nice thrusts. It's all about the thrust. Preferably you thrust in one direction. You're not sawing back on the return. You're giving it a thrust, loosening it, bringing it back, another thrust. And try not to collapse the pipe. Now let's take a moment to talk about the elbows. Female end, male end. This takes a little bit of practice. Let me try again. Give me a close-up, Josh. I'll get it this time. So now picture this. You've got your eaves trough. This goes into your eaves trough. The water comes down. This is the male end. It's in approximately 2 inches or so. So the water sheds and works its way down. That's the right way. What you don't want to be doing is something like that. You don't want to force this one in. This is against the flow. Now these won't fit. Let's assume you force them to fit. The water is going to leak. So it has to be a watershed effect. Always remember a sharp blade. That's what counts. Now as you can see, new elbow, we come across, another elbow, another straight length, and then down. Let me get into a lower position here. This is now going to bring whatever amount of volume Mother Nature can throw at it, all the concentration, off the shingles, off the wall flashing, down continuous, and into the eaves trough. Now we're going to start fastening this. Josh, if you can give me a perspective on when you sightline this to look straight, please.
Okay. That's straight.
Excellent. Always helps to have a good helper. All right, Josh, let's give the viewers a beautiful zoom on this. Nice and tight. So as you can see, all you need is a drill, preferably cordless, and a green Robertson bit. Now we're gonna add one more. Same thing over here. Again on this side as well. Now one more thing I'd like to explain as well. Josh, for the viewers at home, give us a nice tight shot right here, please. This is the original downspout, which is 3 inches by 2 inches deep. Obviously you can tell what we're using here is larger. These are 3x3. Now I prefer the 3x3 for several reasons. The reason number one is, again, the capacity, the volume. They're very large, and in the case where you may get some leaves or some debris in there, should be large enough to not cause a restriction that the debris can wash out the other end. At a later date, possibly next year, all of the homes, downspouts, and eaves troughs, that's slated for a future project. So this section here can easily be reused. Nice tight shot here again, Josh. Oops. Not the easiest place to work on a rooftop. Minimum 2 screws for every area. Now, for those of you at home, Josh, zoom in here again, please. You can see I'm keeping all the screws on the high spots. Not a good idea to put a screw here because the water level, as it rises, if you have a screw below the water level, that can leak. These are beautiful screws, self-tapping. Let's get a nice tight shot here, Josh, of the screws. And with a good bit, it holds itself. As we discussed earlier, this is just wrong for so many reasons. We've taken out the screws, we take off this piece. This is basically 2 elbows, male and female. You're going to slide it over. Again, this size does not match the elbows, but that doesn't matter. All of the homes downspouts will be changed on another show. Not the most comfortable location here. You can slide this as back as you need, and then you want to get in. There's the original hole for the downspout. There we go. 100% of the flow, not only in the eaves drop, but directly over the hole, over the opening for the lower downspout. Two screws on each connection. Again, keep the screws above the water line. You don't want screws down here. Another 2 screws here. And that's how you protect your shingles and make them last. Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. Hope you enjoyed our rental footage. Now it's that time again. Get your home rental questions ready. Email them, askbob@cable14.com, tweet at Just Ask Bob, or pick up the phone, 905-645-3232. We're in the second half of the program, so get your questions ready. We'll be back right after this break.
My family and friends know how much I love to cook and bake. I'm so excited this season to be premiering on Cable 14 with Marisa's Easy Kitchen. Fridays at 8:30, I'm going to share with you some of my family's favorite recipes. Beautiful, fresh, delicious, simple ingredients, making a wonderful meal that you can have with your family too.
Mom used to scream about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy till Mom went to Al-Anon. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Cancer connects us all. We all have a story to tell.
I was 13 years old when I first heard the word cancer.
Being diagnosed with colon cancer was an overwhelming shock.
This is me after my first clean scan.
I'm back to myself again.
Research, including clinical trials, helps to change the picture for cancer patients across Canada. Join Stand Up to Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society to learn more about the groundbreaking research that translates into life-saving treatments.
As we navigate through 2020 and the unique experiences we've all faced this year, it's the connections we have to the community around us which allow us to stay informed about the people, stories, and experiences within our own Hamilton network. Each day at 5 p.m., we'll bring you closer to the connections and experiences within the Hamilton network, right here on Cable 14 and online at cable14.com.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. During the break, we just had a call from Ann. Now, Ann was nervous, so big shout out to the gentleman in the back, my producer Brendan, for quickly transcribing her call into an email. But please, Ann, you don't have to worry. Whoever's out there, if you're nervous, Bob's never going to bark at you. Feel free to call in. But we have this transcribed into an email, so we'll take it now. Hello, Bob. I have a very heavy picture, probably about 100 pounds, and I'm not sure how I should hang it. I don't want to damage my walls, and of course, I don't want it to fall. What do you suggest for materials and best practices? So this is from Ann from Hamilton. And I completely agree. 100 pounds is something serious to deal with. Now, you're going to definitely need a stud, maybe 2 of them. So it depends again now what your home is. It wasn't indicated in the email, but let me try to run through a couple of scenarios. Let's talk about century-old, old-school Hamilton homes which have plaster walls. Now, with the plaster wall, again, depends if it's the very original plaster, it's simply double brick construction. Then you've got lath, skinny lath running horizontal, and then they screed the plaster into that with several coats of plaster. Now, that's actually much, much stronger than modern drywall. So unfortunately, there are no studs in there. You may have to use Tapcons, which we just used in the footage you just watched. So I would sink Tapcons in there to be safe. You may get away with a heavy weight anchor. Now, when you go to the big box stores, they have a variety of anchors. The anchors have weight limits on them, so that's important to know. Now, if it's the next generation of plaster, that was simply 2-foot vertical by 3-foot horizontal sheets of plaster that were installed on the traditional framing. So that is pretty similar to what you'll get in modern day construction, but it's 4x8 sheets or 4x10 or 4x12 sheets. So in either case, with the current and the most past generation, you have wall studs. Now, there's several ways to find where the stud is. The easiest would be to invest in a stud finder. You can pick these up at your local big box stores. Depending what you spend, the more you spend, they can actually detect hot electrical wiring, and they can also detect plumbing. So you want to use your stud finder, you want to find out where the studs are, and that's exactly where you want to fasten to. Because with 100 pounds, not just alone into the drywall. So be safe. If you have any questions at all, follow up with me directly after the show. And thank you again. We have another email here. Hello, Bob. What do you think of plastic eaves troughs versus aluminum? I am leaning towards plastic because they are more affordable and seem easy to install in shorter lengths than the aluminum ones. This is Trevor from Hamilton. Thank you, Trevor. That's an awesome question. When you look on the marketplace, whatever municipality you live in, generally the big box stores will sell you plastic eaves troughs and downspouts, and they have aluminum, but there's a catch there. The aluminum they have only comes in 10-foot lengths, because these DIY box stores, they have to make it easy for, husband and wives to use the minivan or even poke it in somehow through the sedan to transport these things home. I don't really recommend either. There's a problem with the 10-foot lengths of the eaves troughs. The problem is, even with the aluminum, they're not seamless. So most homes, let's take an average, 30 or 40 feet, one of the lengths of the home. You're going to end up needing 3 to 4 lengths of these aluminum eaves troughs. Everywhere you connect them together, you're putting them in with the self-tapping colored sheet metal screws, and then you have to seal it with the proper sealant. Every single one of those locations is a potential leak. You don't want to have a leak. So what is your alternative? There are stores, businesses that usually supply contractors. However, they're just as happy, most of them, to supply homeowners. You would go there, you give them the length of your eaves trough. They have long coils of several hundred feet, so they'll come to your home and they'll actually form the eaves trough right there on your property. Up on our YouTube channel, if you go back to season 6 or 5, and you can find it off our website, justaskbob.com, we have an episode titled Eaves Troughs. On that episode, we actually have the machine mounted on a truck, rolling out, forming a seamless eaves trough, which was probably 40 feet, and it's myself and a couple of my employees walking back and back and back from the truck as it's being rolled out. So they offer this also as a DIY item for homeowners. In that case, all your eaves troughs are seamless. They'll only seam together at each corner of your home. Now back to the plastic. Plastic I don't recommend at all. The plastic's absolute junk. I would even put it on a shed. Sure, you're going to save money. You will save money. But again, remember the focus of the program. When you're cutting the crooked and overcharging contractor out of the equation, you're saving an awful lot of money. Depending on what your project is, the labor may well exceed 50, 60, or 70% of what the cost is on some jobs. When you cut that labor out and you save it, please don't reinvest it back into plastic eaves troughs and downspouts. Invest it into aluminum. If there's no way you want to deal with contracting the company to come in and form your eaves trough seamlessly, then that's fine. Use the 10-footers from the local big box stores. At least they're still aluminum. But at some point in time, you will have to tend to the joints. I hope that helps. We have another one here up on the screen. Bob, I'm having an issue with my contractor regarding washroom use. My family and I are hesitant to allow him and his employees to use our washroom due to COVID. I feel bad for this, and I do not want to come off as being mean and unreasonable person. Cindy from Hamilton, Ontario. Cindy, nobody's going to call you mean. Nobody's going to call you unreasonable. Your home, your rules, your right. Your rights. Let me give you an example now. This is during COVID. Myself and my employees who were on a job doing a bathroom in Hamilton, we politely got kicked off the job due to social distancing for people in their homes to isolate. We resumed the job sometime in June, and we had a big decision to make regarding the bathroom. So we would leave, we would go wherever we had to go. Those are the rules. I mean, I could have brought in, and most contractors can bring in a porta potty, but again, on this particular job site we were at, there was really nowhere to put it. Very, very difficult area. So when the day's said and done, it's up to the contractor. He's there, he's performing a service. where he and his employees go to the bathroom is their business. They have absolutely no right to bother you about using your home. And this could also apply in pre-COVID or when there is no more COVID. It's your home, it's your rights. But what I would like, though, is communication. That's important. Those things should be discussed in the beginning because it just doesn't make sense to discuss it later. It causes an issue. Nobody should hide anything. That's what the initial consultation is for, the original meeting, the estimate being sent in. Those things need to be discussed in the beginning. That way they don't come up as a surprise later. But always remember, it's your property. Again, to contact us, email us at askbob@cable14.com, tweet at justaskbob, or pick up the phone. We welcome your call, 905-645-3232. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Terry Cook, CEO of the Hamilton Community Foundation and host of Hamilton's Vital Signs on Cable 14. We talk about challenges, adversity, and successes in our community. Please join us Mondays at 5:30 right here on Cable 14.
You know how proud I am of you, how hard you work. You deserve your success.
No one deserves this kind of success.
Massimo Ruggiero, the deadliest shark in the sea, and thank God he's our shark.
Men reach a point where they have more money than they can spend. What they crave then is power.
Who says I'm like other men?
Devils. All new Wednesdays. Only on W.
It's just another $1,000. This investment's a sure thing. You're so sweet. I'll return your bank card next time I see you. Sign the check or find someone else to look after you.
No one should ever pressure or trick you into giving money. Learn the signs of financial abuse of seniors. Visit seniors.gc.ca. A message from the Government of Canada.
It's about sharing and caring. It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have another email here. Bob, I noticed in the downspout demonstration that when you put the downspout into the lower eaves trough, you would block the flow of water in the eaves trough. You would have to make sure that you left enough room for the water to flow. Anonymous. Anonymous, thank you. Believe me, I love feedback. And actually, that's very, very important. If I wasn't in such an awkward area there on that edge on the roof, I should have explained it better. Correct. When you put the elbow into the existing eaves trough, you have to make sure that you don't force it all the way down. There has to be room left for the water to get through. I'm very happy that you caught that. We're always open for feedback. Good or bad, Bob loves feedback. And don't forget, especially, Bob also needs a break for his vocal cords. Get your home rental questions ready. 905-645-3232. We love it all except for relationship questions. All right, we got another email here. Bob, I hired a contractor to work on my century-old home to perform some tuck pointing, and I'm not happy at all with his work. The color did not match at all, and he promised me that the color would match. This is from Angry in Hamilton. Well, Angry, please take it from Bob. Life's too short. Don't stay angry. I'll try to make you happy here. Sounds to me like it's a little bit of a communication issue. Let me tell you how I do it when I approach tuck pointing. And my trade Some almost 22 years ago, before I started my business, the trade that I was in the longest was brick, block, and stone. So I have a lot of experience in laying brick, block, and stone, and also in the masonry art of tuck pointing. Now, for the viewers at home that obviously don't know what tuck pointing is, picture now a brick wall, a block, or a stone wall, even your foundation blocks. Mortar joints are both horizontal and vertical. When those joints regress, almost like gums on your teeth, when those joints regress back, you end up having issues. Or sometimes they can fall out completely. And if enough of it falls out, just like you lose your tooth potentially, you can lose your brick, block, or stone. So the masonry trade of tuck pointing is replenishing, refilling in those cavities, both horizontal and vertical, with fresh mortar. Hamilton has a lot of gorgeous homes, historic homes, century-old homes, somewhat modern homes where, I don't know, for whatever reason, they chose to color dye the mortar as they laid the bricks. Generally speaking, everywhere the mortar is gray. There are some custom homes or some situations where the mortar has been dyed. Why does Bob seem not to like that? Because that stuff's just insane to try to color match. So when I meet with a client or a homeowner and they want to hire me or bring me in for a consultation for tuck pointing, first thing I explain to them is there's two ways we can do this. Number one, I'm putting in traditional regular mortar mix. It's not going to match. I'm not even going to say it's going to match. It may come very close. As the years pass, it'll look better. That's at one level of the affordability scale. Now, if we go up the ladder several rungs in the affordability scale, I can start color dyeing and spending an insane amount of time trying to get the batch right, which again is not going to be perfect. It may be a little bit better, but you're going to pay more. So when the day's said and done, every contract I write with a homeowner for anything to do with brick, block, or stone replacement, or tuck pointing, fixing the joints, I'm very crystal clear in writing. We cannot guarantee a color match once the work's completed. And then it's take it or leave it. If they want to take it, they sign, that's fine. So it's very, very important, the communication. But again and again, we seem to fall on troubled economic times for whatever reason. These contractors need the money. So they will promise you at times the world, or they will omit things in the contract. And then when the job's done and the homeowner's angry and they're going to complain from anybody to the BBB to whoever, the problem becomes the contractor simply says, well, what did you expect? Your home's a century old. We just put one-day-old mortar in it. Or your home was color dyed an odd color mortar joint from when the builder made it. And now how on earth are we going to match that? It just becomes a problem afterwards. As I like to say, the right contractor for you and your home has respect and has decency for both himself and you, the client. He's going to be upfront with you. He's the professional. Like they say, the contractor knows what he's doing. The homeowner, if they work at a bank, they're great at banking. They're great at making change and certifying checks and taking deposits. That's what they're great at. Contractor's great at what he does. But the explanation, the demystifying that has to be there. So if a homeowner signs that type of documentation that they were advised that it's not going to be a color match, there should be no complaining. I mean, there still might be some, but there should be none. Another tip to homeowners that when you hire a contractor for tuck pointing or any masonry work, absolutely critical that the contractor is clean. Because when getting mortar on your fingers and you're doing the work and you're touching or leaning on the other bricks, that stuff will get into the brick joint, into the brick crevices. That won't clean off. You'll have to use muriatic acid or live with it. So again, it's one of those situations where the contractor should offer you a reference sheet. And it shouldn't be a reference sheet for gates, fences, and decks. It should include tuck pointing jobs. So you can then call his references, ask if he was clean, ask if they were satisfied, and then you move ahead from there. Should be common sense, but sometimes it's not. We have another email on the screen here. Hello, Bob. What would you recommend for a material for baseboards and why? Finger jointed pine or MDF? Anthony from Dundas. Thank you very, very much, Anthony. Many years ago, my son did a school project on this, and we chose the finger jointed, and we sort of, we built a little display with it. We took a piece of the MDF, about a foot long, we left it in water overnight. Took a piece a foot long of finger jointed pine, left that in water overnight as well. The finger jointed pine came out nearly flawless. The MDF, well, that's another story. It drinks, it soaks it up. The MDF is even worse than OSB, oriented strand board, stuff builders are using currently in order to save money on plywood, and again to fatten their bottom line with new home construction in Ontario. Hands down, if you're going to be painting it, because in that email there, both choices of wood, from what I understand, are only paint grade. You can only paint those. You can't stain them. You can't finish them in any other manner. Now let's talk about price. Many, many people, even homeowners asking me to do trim work, are always usually mentioning MDF baseboards and window and door trim simply because it's cheap. They go out to the big box stores. Everybody's got a calculator on their smartphone. They figure out what it's going to cost, and sometimes it's 2 to 3 times more expensive to use finger jointed pine. But the problem is, okay, let me give you an example. In a kitchen, and this happened actually in my own home, there's a fireplace we have that is a little unusual. It's sort of half in the kitchen, half in the living room. Nice feature, I guess. You can enjoy the view whether you're hanging out and entertaining in the kitchen or in the living room. However, the tile floor of the kitchen also comes out to approximately halfway point of the fireplace. So the fireplace has some nice trim around it. And the funny thing is, the further back trim is finger jointed pine, but then they did some kind of shoe mold or baseboard at the bottom using, of course, MDF. Very strange how they use finger jointed pine and then dressed over it at the bottom with MDF. Now, from mopping the floor, from tidying up the floor, from the moisture, the very, very bottom 1/4 to 1/2 inch of that baseboard, it just started swelling. Looks like crap. I pulled it off, replaced it with finger jointed pine. So again, baseboarding and trim is one of those perfect DIY projects. Obviously, buy a couple extra lengths in case you screw it up, but you're not going to hurt anybody. It's not plumbing, it's not electrical. And once again, when you cut the crooked overcharging contractor out of the equation, I'm telling you, especially for high-end trim work, the money you save, you can buy yourself oak, never mind finger jointed pine. So try to reinvest that money back in the good quality. Past seasons, MDF has been a Bob's beware. Finger jointed pine has been a Bob's top pick. I hope that helps. We have another email here. Bob, can you please recommend an interior trim paint for my living room pillars? It needs to be a very durable paint because these pillars are in a high traffic area between my kitchen and my living room. Sandra from Hamilton. Thank you very much, Sandra. I know the exact paint you need. Just give me a moment to think about it here. Sherwin-Williams. I believe it's either the emerald or the urethane. Urethane. Sherwin-Williams urethane. When you call or ask for it or you go online to look it up, the can says exterior and interior. So this was one of my ideas because back some time ago when I had some painting to do on a very delicate area inside somebody's home, well, delicate in the sense that it's extremely high traffic and my customers were extremely picky and difficult. So I thought to myself, if I use an outside paint rated for the exterior, inside, that's got to be bulletproof. So the urethane for interior, exterior, that stuff is like a sheet of glass. That will protect those pillars, especially in your case, I believe they're close to the kitchen, from grimy hands or whatnot. We're going to take a quick break. Don't forget, pick up the phone, get off the couch, call 905-645-3232. We'll be right back.
Oh, to be sailing away. Oh, to be sailing away from the Great Lake with the sun sinking fast and the city behind in the darkness so vast. But the river flowed slowly down to the sea. But you're off and you're sailing away.
It's just another 1,000. This investment's a sure thing. You're so sweet. I'll return your bank card next time I see you. Sign the check or find someone else to look after you.
No one should ever pressure or trick you into giving money. Learn the signs of financial abuse of seniors. Visit seniors.gc.ca. A message from the Government of Canada.
Cancer connects us all. We all have a story to tell.
I was 13 years old when I first heard the word cancer.
Being diagnosed with colon cancer was an overwhelming shock.
This is me after my first clean scan.
I'm back to myself again.
Research, including clinical trials, helps to change the picture for cancer patients across Canada. Join Stand Up to Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society to learn more about the groundbreaking research that translates into life-saving treatments.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. Don't forget, this show is interactive. We're closing the program shortly, but throughout the entire week, you can email at askbob@cable14.com all week long. Tweet at justaskbob.com, but you can't call in all week, but you can write down the number for next Tuesday, 7 p.m., 905-645-3232. We welcome all questions from the foundation to the rooftop and everything in between. And please, test Bob's honesty. If Bob doesn't have an answer for you, Bob's not giving you an answer. You can follow up with me by email. You can follow up by calling at the office. Best way to get through to Bob is www.justaskbob.com. Again, that's www.justaskbob.com. Largest database on the net. It links to our YouTube channel, which you can search easily, Just Ask Bob or Bob Assadourian. Right on this very network, 11 years worth of segments and half-hour shows, over, I believe, 150 of them, all of them on our YouTube channel, where we're very proud to have this as a teaching database for you, the homeowner. You can pause, fast forward, rewind, and always learn at your own pace. Nothing puts a smile on Bob's face like feedback that you did get up, get off the couch, and the job was a success. Bragging rights, guess who they go to? To you, the homeowner. Or if you have to hire out, send us the good news story. Was it a great time? Everything worked out? No issues? That equally puts a smile on Bob's face. But it's very important also, please remember to always work safely. A lot of these programs, we're up on ladders, we're up on roofs. You can see Bob was tied off. If you're chipping stone or cutting into things, please have safety glasses on. Until next week, thank you very much.